Hi, welcome to a quick update on the One Big Beautiful Bill of new updates from August and September 2025. I am Vicki Stolnaker, shareholder of JRBT and Director of Operations for Payroll Systems, a division of JRBT. The information in this update is for general guidance only. It is not legal advice, payroll advice, tax advice, or HR advice. Please consult with your appropriate advisors. So a reminder, the One Big Beautiful Bill was signed in July of 2025. Now we have been waiting on some updates for how to handle for payroll purposes. So in August, we received a few updates. The biggest one is no changes for 2025 forms and tables, a preliminary tipped occupation list, and also a draft of the new W-4 form. In September, we have received a few other updates. The draft Form W-2 for next year, and also the draft 1040-1A, and the final tipped occupation list was just released. So to expand on our August updates, at the beginning of August, the IRS announced that there was no changes to the Forms W-2, 1099, 941, or other payroll tax returns for 2025, as well as they are not updating the federal income tax withholding tables as well, which is great news for employers and payroll processors because we get to continue using our current procedures for reporting and withholding for the rest of 2025. Now, IRS will provide guidance for the 2025 OBB related tax benefits for employees when they file their returns. At the end of August, the U.S. Department of Treasury released a preliminary list of occupations that customarily or regularly receive tips on or before December 31st, 2024. Now, the final list was just released as well on September 19th, 2025. They also released the 2026 draft Form W-4. Now, steps 1 and 2, there were no significant changes. Step 3, they now have bulleted that section with an A and B section for the dependents and other credits. The areas that had the most change were the Step 4. The Section 4B, the deductions worksheet has now been expanded. Before it was just a partial page, now is a full page and the W-4 instructions in order to include the OBBB provisions that employees need to review. In addition, they finally have added a withholding exemption section. Previously, employees had to write the word exempt above the signature section. Now there's a full new section that was added. So in September, they also released the 2026 draft Form W-2. Now remember, the 2025 W-2 is not changing. It is staying the way it is. This is the release for next year's form. So 2 changes. The box 14 has now been split into a 14A and a 14B. The 14A will hold the normal box 14 information that we put on W-2s previously. The 14B is new. It is a Treasury tipped occupation code that will come from that tipped occupation release that we just recently received. The new Box 12 codes, TA, employer contributions to your Trump account, TP, total amount of cash tips, and TT, total amount of qualified overtime compensation. So with these new codes, you need to make sure that your payroll system has been programmed adequately to handle these in 2026. So a few more updates for September. IRS has released the 2025 draft Form 1040-1A. This is the new form for 2025 due to the OBBB to capture the information for the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on car loan interest, and enhanced deduction for seniors. The instructions have not been released yet, but they will help guide employees and also employers for what employees will want to request for 2025. So if you want to dig a little deeper into this information, I have provided some resources for each of these items. IRS has a website that provides the one big beautiful build provisions, as well as each of the announcements and web links for each of the draft forms. Once again, stay tuned for more video updates because I'm sure there will be more that will affect payroll processors, employers, and employees. Thank you.